Some of us realize, oh my freaking gosh, I married a person exactly like my dad. It's like a knife. Is it a song? It cuts like a knife. Yes, it is a song. Hello guys, it's me, Donna Bliss, and I'm here in Australia. I'm about to vlog about, have you ever wondered how we pick a partner? You know, the people we date or we dated in the past. It's an important realization that sometimes we subconsciously pick our partners and sometimes we consciously pick our partners. And I'm gonna tell you the difference. And today I'm gonna talk about what's the best thing I've learned from studying trauma experts like the childhood trauma psychologist. Is for 2 years now I have been obsessed with watching podcast here in YouTube about personal development since I had my diagnosis 2 years ago from today. Some of you may know about how I was diagnosed with anxiety. It's a long story anyway. I just wanna share these thoughts for today because I think some of us are wondering why we chose our partner. It's conscious and subconscious actually. This is from what I found out from listening to podcasts. Consciously, which means that, for example, if I grew up with a playboy dad and I have witnessed everything, him cheating. When I've witnessed this growing up, so of course there's trauma there. When you say consciously choosing a partner, that means I am conscious that I will never ever find a partner or marry someone who is promiscuous like my dad. So I'm conscious about it. There's also a subconscious way of picking a partner when sometimes you hear this women or men who says, why do I always pick bad girls? Why do I always pick emotionally absent partners? Or why do I always pick these cold people in my life? Well, unfortunately, you grew up with one or two of your parents emotionally being absent there or not meeting your needs emotionally. It's familiar feelings that you had growing up. We tend to subconsciously, because it's familiar, so when we find a partner who's cold or who's emotionally not available, because we grew up with that very familiar feeling, then we attract those kinds of people. You know what I mean? For example, if you saw male can be physically abusive and also female can be physically abusive emotionally and physically. If you saw that growing up when you were a kid, subconsciously sometimes you pick a partner that's like that because it's familiar to you, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy relationship. It's a toxic one because you grew up in a toxic family from when you were little, and that was your familiar. That was normal in your family, which is not normal, of course, because it's a toxic partnership, isn't it? I will give my husband as an example. I think I chose him because we were best friends before we actually dated. We bonded over exes who cheated on us. That's how me and Nat, my husband now, became best friends at first. I think because we knew how it felt like to be cheated on. It's this very physical ache in the heart. That's how I define it actually. That's how I describe it. I mean, breakups, it's got like different types of pain. When the breakup was mutual or is mutual, there's a type of pain. But if you got cheated on or your partner cheated, oh man, it's physical pain. It's like every day. Literally a knife. It's like a knife. Is it a song? It cuts like a knife. Yes, it is a song. But I know it sounds very exaggerated or, I don't know, corny. But it is how I felt like and what my husband now felt like when we got cheated on. Because we know how that feels, so we had a bond over it. And I think that's subconscious because I was not aware that I chose him as a, like romantic partner. And over time, we developed romantic feelings with each other. That's why we started dating. But I call it subconsciously because I wasn't aware then. I'm gonna give you an example of a conscious choice of how you chose a partner or how you choose a partner is that if you grew up when your dad is like a CIA agent, for example, who uses their talents, their intelligence, and their charm for their job, that means you're conscious that you don't like someone like that because you grew up like a person like that. One very good example of this is my dad. I grew up with an absent dad because he had to work somewhere else. That's his job. So I consciously said, no, I won't date anyone who has no time for me. I don't care how rich they are because I already lived that kind of life. A life with an absent male figure. My dad's job is actually like a CIA agent because he had to get information. The important thing is he can get information, from the rebels or from the drug lords or something like that. So he had to use whatever he's got, his charms, his, everything that he can to get the information so that he can stop the criminals or the bad guys. So I thought when I grew up, because I have a dad like that who uses all his talents and abilities and charms, that means I am conscious about choosing someone like that. It's a choice. So I'm conscious that I will not choose someone who uses their superficial capabilities to lure me in their lives. That's what I meant. I don't like people who uses their power over me or pin me down with pain. Someone who manipulates who is a master manipulator, because that's my dad. Sorry, Dad, I hope you're not watching this. Because I've already lived with that type of personality and I know the pros and cons. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with because I don't like my dad. It's not like that. It's just because I've lived that life already and I want something else. And I have a friend who got this experience. One day he told me he's having a divorce. I don't know if he's divorced now, but he said that his wife was very, very cold. And I was thinking, why he stayed in that relationship where, he's not fulfilled, emotionally fulfilled. And most of the therapists or psychologists, they run history, when you were a kid, how is your relationship with your parents, like that. So I was thinking about this friend who said that he's got a toxic relationship with his wife. I didn't need to ask my friend about his past relationship with his dad because I knew that his parents were divorced. He grew up without a dad. He had an absent father growing up. So I think he stayed in his relationship with his, maybe his ex-wife now or ex-partner. He stayed for as long as he can because it was a familiar kind of feeling, an absent dad. He had an absent parent and he had to chase this feeling of coldness. There's an emptiness and he felt empty being with his ex-wife. And I think that's how he stayed because it's a familiar feeling for him. Even though he may or may not know that it's a toxic pattern. That's subconsciously how he chose this kind of person because it reminded him of his relationship with his dad. Or probably his mom was like that. Maybe his mom was emotionally absent. Unfulfilled emotional needs. When you have this, when you were a kid, you tend to find it or you tend to attract partners like this because it's familiar to you, or that feeling was familiar to you, although you know that it's not healthy for you. Me, I have a different story. I consciously didn't want someone like that, someone emotionally absent or physically absent. I didn't like a paternal or a male figure in my life to be absent because I already lived that life.
If you like videos like this, please consider subscribing so you will receive my weekly videos. You can help my channel grow by being a member or liking and sharing this video to your friends. Bye and love.